Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into decoding the philosopher-prophet persona of Marcus Rehbach. We're going to treat his raw, deeply personal 2016 collection of poems, lyrics, and song tabs not just as music, but as profound philosophical texts. Together, we're going to trace a truly fascinating journey, from existential dread all the way to ultimate salvation, using his very own words as our guide. Right off the bat, take a look at these incredibly vulnerable opening lines. They just instantly pull us into his quest for meaning. Have you ever felt that deep, burning need to somehow fix a broken world? Well, Rehbach does. He doesn't just want to create art. He's actively seeking to be a righter of wrongs. And that sets up this incredible tension, a man trying to fix the world while simultaneously trying to fix something broken within himself.
So let's move into our first section, the philosopher-prophet's mind, where we look at his sensory experiences and those big existential questions.
To really understand where his conclusions come from, we got to look at the foundation. Notice the highly specific, isolated places he roots his early poems in. Whether he's standing before a monument in Detmold or just wandering through a quiet alpine meadow, Rehbach uses these spaces to step completely off the grid. He allows the natural world to just wash over him, letting time evaporate.
And in these quiet spaces, his frantic, vivid imagery just sprints. Just read those lines. He is capturing absolutely overwhelming sensory experiences. It's almost cinematic. He's not just looking at a landscape, he's feeling the electric yellow stars fluorescing. He's literally trying to anchor his mind in the pure, raw data of the physical world around him.
But here's the catch. When that sensory overload fades, the quiet creeps back in. And in that quiet, the philosopher's dread emerges. He starts asking these massive, heavy questions. If nature is just beautiful mechanics, what is the point of us? Why are we even waking up in the morning?
Which brings us to Section 2, An Indifferent Universe, and his pretty cynical realization of our mechanical reality.
He basically views our whole existence as a chaotic stew. Actually, scratch that. It's more like we're just DNA stuck on a rock made of stone, fire, and water flying blindly around in space. It's a striking, modern existentialist view. He strips away all those comforting illusions about a universe that watches over us. To the cosmos, a human life holds the exact same weight as a common housefly. No way around it.
He uses his lyrics as these sharp philosophical arguments to hammer home a really bleak reality. The universe simply doesn't care about our individual suffering. You can see his frustration boiling over here. People endure terrible things, childhood abuse, crushing poverty, and yet the planet just keeps on spinning. There is zero cosmic justice stepping in to make things right.
Let's zoom in a bit for Section 3, The Pain of Growing Up, beautifully told through a coming-of-age story in his song 19.
This maps out that cold reality on a deeply personal level. It's a literal coming-of-age story. At 15, everything is wide-eyed optimism and a big dream, right? But skip ahead to 23, and those romantic illusions of shattered, totally replaced by this urgent, messy need to just be free. It perfectly captures how an indifferent universe gradually grinds down our youthful idealism.
Man, these lyrics hit hard. They serve as this blunt, emotional anchor, reminding us that life can totally break you when you're caught between the grand plans you made and the complete mystery of the future. Rehbach is telling us that change is the only constant. The bright colors of youth inevitably fade into the gray realities of just surviving.
So, how do we cope? Let's get into Section 4, Seeking Fun and Connection, where we navigate the daily grind and look for a break. He tackles this with a wildly relatable frustration, working hard inside all day for a paycheck while it feels like every other son of a gun is out enjoying life in the sun. We've all felt this on a long Tuesday afternoon, haven't we? It's a beautifully honest question. In a universe devoid of grand meaning, shouldn't we at least be allowed to have a little fun?
He uses these upbeat, universal scenarios to highlight the shared misery of the 9-to-5 grind. He points out the office workers, the cleaners, the folks sweating away their lives. He knows the whole shebang is rigged. But his advice isn't to throw in the towel. Instead, he invokes Rocky Balboa. You take the hits, you roll with the unexpected punches, and you get back up.
And notice this pivot here toward acceptance. It's a wishful, hopeful resilience in a game where, as he says, there is no free will at all. He embraces c'est la vie, such as life. It's purely a survival tactic. If luck randomly comes and goes and the universe doesn't care, stressing out over the unfairness is a complete waste of time. You just gotta ride the wave.
Which leads us to our final act,
Section 5, Salvation Through Love, where we finally find some light in the darkness.
This is where we see the absolute ultimate contrast in Rehbach's work. On one side, you have the bleak, mechanical reality of the cosmos. On the other, the warm, comforting promise of human connection. He doesn't deny the cold reality of the universe for a second. Rather, he presents love as the definitive antidote to it.
Human connection acts as a literal shield against the disillusionment that constantly takes its toll in this crazy world. Think about it. When everything else fails, when the plans fall apart and the daily grind wears you down to the bone, another human being is the only tangible, real shelter you have left.
Across his songs, love is presented as way more than just typical romance. It's a protective shelter, a light in the darkness, a cosmic force. It's a helping hand when you're down and warmth against the cold. He elevates human affection to something almost sacred, kind of replacing traditional religion with the religion of interpersonal devotion.
And that brings us to his ultimate philosophical conclusion, boiling everything down to this single, incredibly powerful line. Out of all the existential questioning and the cynicism, he arrives at a profoundly beautiful truth. We give the universe meaning simply by loving each other.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to ponder for your own search for meaning. Think about Rehbach's journey. If the cosmos really is just cold and mechanical, maybe that doesn't have to be a source of despair at all. Maybe it just means that warmth, purpose, and light are entirely up to us to create. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today.